Welcome back again. We're back in the shed. What the hell was that?
Think of it for Bobbi shit.
Let me take you in the shed.
wait. In the shed.
Back here in the shed, and as you can tell, we're not alone today. And you know what? We ain't gonna be alone ever again. Even when we do the solo episodes, I might have the boy Bobbi in here with me. The boy Bobbi is gonna be a new addition to the shed. I feel like it was a little lonely in here. Sometimes it's just me and you guys. Sometimes it's me and you guys and the producer, me a guest and the producer. Now even when I'm here by myself, I'm gonna have a little company, me and the boy. What's going on, my boy? What's going on? He's a chill guy. He's a chill guy. I mean, he is. I think he might be sleeping right now. I don't know. He's a chill guy, so. But today, he's just gonna make me company. If he wants to talk, he can, but he's just gonna make me company. Today, I got a special one for you guys. I figured it's been 22 weeks now of the podcast of us here in the shed. It's been 22 weeks, and I've never really sat down and given you guys a little background, on me, your host with the most. I kind of just sit here and get to it. We talk about what's going on. We talk about mental health, anxiety, positive thoughts. But I've never really dove into my childhood, my upbringing, my background, all the little details in that. So, what better way to do it than with the boy here, the boy Bobbi, or Bobbi, or you guys let me know, what should we call the boy? If you guys got any ideas, let me know down there. I don't know. He looks like a Bobbi to me, Even though a little dusty, man. Where'd you find it? Am I in my closet? We're gonna have to talk about that drip. Anyways. Let's get right into it, guys. Where do I start? Where do I start? I'm 25 years old. I was born in the December 20th, 1999. Barely made the cut as a 90s baby. So shout out mom. I point up, but she's around the corner that way at the crib, at her crib. So shout out mom. So she got me. She was she popped me out in December. So good on her for not making me a 2000 kids. But if you are, it's fine. I'm just saying. So shout out mom. I was born in the Dominican Republic 25 years ago now. My dad and my mother. It's windy out. The door is like bugging out. Let me go fix that door. And I'm back. Hopefully that's a little better, guys. Where was I? So, was born in the Dominican Republic in a little province called La Vega. My mom says I was born around 6 p.m., which is interesting. Which I'm trying to think that. Does that make sense to me, to my character? I mean, I do like the sunset. Maybe like, if y'all know about astrology and stuff, I'm a Sagittarius. Y'all let me know the details down below. What 6 p.m., 20th of December 99 means. Does that mean I like sunsets? Does that have to do with that, the birth stuff? What kind of Mercury do I have up there? What kind of moon do I have? Y'all let me know down below. I don't know nothing about that stuff. Is this why I'm anxious? Maybe that's why I'm anxious, because of the time I was born. If I was born at 5:30, would I be not anxious? Would I be like confident and like I'm confident now, but like would I have been born confident like, oh, this is gonna be the next president of DR? Anyways, y'all let me know. I don't know nothing about that. You gotta, what is that called? Read the chart. You gotta read my chart. So born in DR. From my mama and my papa, who are, thank the Lord, still with us. I remember as a kid, I used to be a loud kid. If I had to go back on my earliest memory, I'm pretty sure I have a memory when I was probably like 3, and I think I was sitting on the floor playing with dirt, kid stuff. And I think I was eating some bugs. I think I was eating ants or something. I think it was a bunch of ants like doing their thing, ants. And then I was just like, What the hell? I don't know. I don't know what was going on through my head, but I think that's the earliest memory I can think of. It always stuck with me because I was like, what the hell was I doing? Eating ants. So, I'll definitely slide some footage so you'll know what the childhood looking like. I was a chunky baby, so I'll definitely show y'all that up there. I remember in school, my mom used to drop me off at school, and I'll walk in with her, whatever. She will grab my hand, hold my hand, walk me to class. Everything was fine. And the moment we arrived to class, right there at the door, and she just leaves me there, and then she would walk away. It would just straight up, wah, wah, start crying like the rest of the kids. Kids that weren't crying already, maybe like the parent dropped them off early, so 20 minutes passed already, the class hasn't started, but they got their wits together. They're crying again, they hear me crying, they're crying again. The whole damn classroom is crying. It was horrible. I remember this happened a few times. I think at one point my mom was like, I'm not taking them to school, and a cousin of ours was staying with us. She'll make her take me to school. Anyways, I used to like school when I was younger, though. They had to do a bunch of fun stuff in DR. In DR, you would have one or 2 days of the week were gym days, I think it was. So you would go up to class Monday, normal uniform. Then you go Tuesday, and then you would have to bring in your gym uniform, which was like sporty long pants and a regular shirt. And then the regular uniform was like a button up, a blue shirt, button up, and then some khakis. These schools in DR with their uniforms. I remember I used to always watch like Zoe 101 on TV, Ned's Classified, Drake and Josh, and I used to be like, iCarly. I used to be like, damn, I want to go to school with like regular clothes. Like, why do I gotta wearing a uniform here in DR? I don't know, man. So that was like it was kindergarten. They used to have them draw a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to remember what the hell they were teaching us back then. The alphabet in Spanish, draws, the colors, all that good stuff. The school used to give us lunch. So I was at a school. A lot of the schools over there are very religious, God first, which is amen. Teach you a lot of values when you're younger. But the school I was going to, it had kindergarten, elementary, and even middle school all together. So you literally would see from the smallest kids to the biggest kids all in the same school. The schedules will be different. So like when some of the older kids were like at their recess lunchtime, the other kids were in the classrooms, and then vice versa. Try to keep the intertwining down. Excuse me. I remember my uncle. I had an uncle who was on the younger side. So shout out my uncle. My uncle Alex. He's still chilling in DR. So my uncle was a little on the younger side. So when I was in elementary school, probably like 3rd, 4th grade, he was in like 6th or 7th grade in middle school. So he was, I would see him walking around. And if you're not Dominican, you'll know about this. But in DR, when you see an elder, especially part of your family member, you gotta acknowledge them. If they pass by each other and you see each other, you're gonna acknowledge it. So in DR, we call that besarme la mano. And they be like, besame la mano. So you would think that you're actually going, but you're not. You're not kissing nobody's hand. That's what that translates to, kissing your hand. All it is a show of respect. So when you go to your family's house and your uncle's there chilling on the table, he eating or something, go up to the table and you're like, oh, uncle. And then you be like, Sion tío, which it's a short for bendición, which is bless. So you're blessing him, blessing my uncle. And then he says back to you, Dios te bendiga, which means God bless you. So, you give him, say hi, uncle, give him a blessing, then he gives you a blessing right back. So, chilling in school, my friends, walking around, and then all the time my uncle would bump into me, would pass by me, and I'll be like, oh, my boy Unc. Be like, yo, Unc, Sion tío, say hi to him, whatever. And my classmates, my friends would see me and be like, that's your uncle, bro? Your uncle like 2 years older than us or something like that? It's more than a couple years older than us, but same school. He looked young, so like my classmates would make fun of me, be like, yeah. Even though like, it ain't that funny. But that boy Unc, shout out that boy Unc. That was, I guess, elementary school. So in elementary school over there, and then years later, I found out that here is the same thing. So elementary school over there, you're in a classroom with a bunch of kids and one teacher, and you're there the whole day. You know, the teacher teaches you all the what's it called, the subjects: math, English. Yes, we had English back there. Science, art, all the good stuff. Language, I think, was a subject over there. So teacher will teach one teacher will teach all the subjects in one classroom. I remember, so each year you will get a different teacher. I remember, I think of fourth grade or fifth grade. I think it was fourth grade, going into fifth. My teacher will let us go into recess, and I used to go meet up with my friends if we weren't in the same class. If we were in the same class, we'll come out together. But I'll go meet up with my friends that weren't in the class, and I'll meet up with my cousin Jose Miguel, which I was telling you all about a couple episodes ago. I meet up with my cousin Jose Miguel. You know, we're playing around, blah, 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 play some tag. Yo, tag used to hit back in DR, bro. We used to love playing tag. Little hide and seek action, protect. Nothing beat tag though. Freeze tag maybe. Nothing beat regular tag. So I used to go find my cousin Jose Miguel. So a lot of times his teacher wouldn't let him out for lunch or recess at this exact time that my class used to let me out. So maybe like 2-3 minutes after. So a lot of times I'll pass by his class. I see that he's still in there, and I'll wait outside. Blah 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 blah. I don't know what happened. I think this one day maybe happened. This maybe happened a couple times. I don't know, but this one time I went to the classroom, and the teacher that was teaching them was an older teacher of mine from like a year before, 2 years before, whatever it was. I don't even think I remember this. I get to the door, like I go see my cousins out for recess, and then I pass by his classroom. I get to his door, and the class is still going. So I don't know what happened. I don't, from what I remember, if my memory serves me right, I think I thought the classroom was empty. I don't know, but I think I kind of like walked in a little bit. Like, I didn't look first. I kind of walked in. I was like, oh crap, something going on, whatever. Knowing me, I probably did a little dance right there or something, and then I walked away. Something like that. All I know is that somehow, someway, this gets back to my teacher. Then somehow, someway, this gets back to my mother. So I get home like that day. I don't know. I don't think it was that day that my mom found out. It was maybe like a day later, or even 2 days later. All I know is that my mother found out. She was freaking furious. She was so freaking mad. I don't even know what she's talking about. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. She hit me with the, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You want to be bad. She was like, oh, I can't believe this. A teacher you used to, like that, a teacher that was your teacher before, and you're doing this. A teacher that used to like you so much. And I'm like, what are we talking about? She's like, nah, you went in her room and you were acting up. And I'm like, this is crazy, bro. I would never do this. So I'm like, what are you talking about, mom? Like if I did something and I did it, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. But if I didn't do it, I'm gonna be like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm like, yo, you're lying. Like I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. The teacher's lying. They making stuff up. They plotting against me. You know, I'm telling her everything. She didn't believe me. Whatever. It's besides the point. So I think like 3 days later, same situation happened, something like that. Within a week, same situation happens. I get out of recess, I go towards my cousin's classroom, and same thing. I get to the door, and the class is still going. I didn't do anything. I ain't no dancing, no none of that. But then I'm like, wait a minute. This sounds a lot like my mom was telling me, and then that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, wait, this is what she's talking about. I was like, the other day when I came here, I'm like, this is what she meant by I was acting up. So I was like, oh, whatever. I understood. Nobody was wrong in this situation. I'll take accountability and say nobody was wrong in this situation. It wasn't the teacher's fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my mom's fault. Anyways, I in class, I was always, I don't know if I was that loud kid, but I definitely wasn't the quiet kid. I was a class clown, I guess. I was class clown. I was outspoken. I had a lot of friends. We all knew each other in the class, and throughout the years, I don't know if purposely or not, but we would kind of stay within the same class. Like 2 or 3 kids would get added, or 2 or 3 kids would go. They would move, and then we'll get a new set. But we always had like the same amount. It was mostly like the people I grew up with. So that was cool. My first crush was in my class. So shout out my first crush, me crush. So that was cool. We all hung out like in little groups, a little gang. So like Harold said a couple episodes ago when we were with Harold, he had a little gang growing up, all little gang. You know what I'm saying? So I hung out with my guy friends, and then the girls in the classroom would hang out with their girlfriends. And then once in a while, we'll all meet up outside, and then we'll all play together, a little tag action. We were literally like 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. So whatever. We fast forward. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what else was exciting in my childhood. You know, like other than school stuff. Like I hung out a lot with my friends in the neighborhood. Like those were my friends, my neighbors. We used to hang out, ride bicycle together. My neighbor, shout out the boy Oswa. I remember the boy Oswa. I remember he had nice bikes, like BMX bikes. And you know, back then we didn't have cell phones and none of that, no computers and all that. So to us, was the physical stuff is what we liked. So we like riding around bikes. And I had this ugly ass yellow bike. We call it una bicicleta H.O.P, if you know what I mean. We used to call that my bike that. And then my friend, he was a little rich guy. He had 2 bikes. A nice big one and a small one that was fast. So he used to let me borrow that. And it would suck when, you know, little kids get into arguments, start arguing with each other. It would suck when I would argue with him. Or like we'll get into, you know, little kid fights. And then I'll be like, oh, now whose bicycle am I going to borrow? And I'll either be there in my bicicleta H.O.P trying to catch up with them. Or just, I'll act tough, you know, pride takes precedent when you're that young. So I'll act tough, be like, whatever. I'm not going outside today. I'm going to stay inside and, you know, do my thing. Some days I'll just stay inside and Squidward looking out the window. See everyone playing. We were getting like physical fights all the time, my friends and I, you know, little kid stuff. What we did on the streets, you know, get mad for some reason, this and that. One day, I don't know what this fight was about. I'm trying to remember what even that. I remember one time, also my neighbor got into a fight with the other neighbor next to him, and he was also my friend. So we were all kind of hanging out outside. I think my parents were outside. They were out there catching a breeze. I don't know what it started this argument or this fight, because it turned physical. But we were all like playing there. Anibal did something to Oswa, and Oswa didn't like it. So Anibal, I think, was like, you know, F you, F that. I don't care that you're mad, whatever. And I think I was with Anibal too, and I'm kind of like, listen, it's true. Like, he shouldn't be that mad. Like, we're out here just trying to play. We're trying to have fun. He's getting too emotional. So, we love watching WWE. That was a big part of the childhood. We all love watching WWE. If you meet Dominican people, especially younger kids, or even older people, you ask them, you watch WWE when you were younger, they're going to be like, oh, WWE, my shit, yo. We love The Undertaker. Oswa loved The Undertaker. So the boy Oswa is there. He's getting mad. You can see steam coming out his ears. Face is red. I'm kind of happy that I'm not involved, you know. I'm kind of like, I ain't got nothing to do with this. So I'm chilling. And Oswa starts walking back to Anibal and I look at Oswa and I'm like, oh, he mad. He coming over here though. You know, he mad. Again, I'm not involved, so whatever. So Oswa gets in Anibal's face and he's like, I don't even think he said anything. I don't even think any words came out because we all knew. Yo, I keep scratching my nose. I got an itchy nose. My bad, guys. I swear I'm not doing Sugar booger. So this man also pulls up, gets right on Anibal's face, and starts doing the Undertaker. You know the Undertaker with the blank eyes. So he's right. He gets on his face and he's kind of like, I swear, you would think he's straight up from a cartoon. He's there huffing and puffing on his face. I'm like, I was a little kid, so I'm like, oh, that means he's powering up. Now he's about to, his muscles about to get bigger, like Goku. So Anilas is bigger than us, so he's not even getting really phased. He's kind of like, do something. He's like, do something. I think he was like 2 years older than us, so he's probably like 9 or 10. Also an hour like 7 or 8. Also, I might have been 8. I might have been 7. Who knows? So gets on Anibal's face. Anibal's is like, bro, what is it, bro? What is it? Like if you're gonna do something, do it. Also, doesn't even say anything. He's still powering up. You know, he's sitting there. He's shaking. He's making his noises. His eyes are going blank like the Undertaker. My dad and my mom are on the side like, what is about to happen? You know, they don't know what's about to happen. My dad is like, yo, why his eyes are inside his head? Is he trying to read what's behind him? My dad's confused. He don't know what's happening. He never seen the Undertaker. Anibal tells him, move out the way. Because he was face to face with him. He doesn't move. Tells him again, move out the way. He doesn't move. Says, move out the way or I'm going to hit you. And bangs him in the face. Maybe the side of the head. Maybe the nose. I don't know. Banged him. And that's all she wrote. I wish there was more to that story, but that's all she wrote. He banged him in the face. I don't want to say he started crying, but there was liquidy coming out of his eyes. And he ran back to his house. Anybody hit me. You were looking for a fight. Whatever. That's besides the point. There's a lot of fighting in my childhood, I feel like. You know, I feel like that's what we like to do as kids. I used to like running. I used to like racing. I used to live in the projects, in these apartments. And then I'll go down out to the first floor, to the street level. There was like a little park. It was like a circle. So it was like apartments surrounding this little park in the middle. No streets there. So you go to the park and play around. I'll meet up with my friends there and then run around. See who's faster. That was always fun. But a lot of fighting. For some reason, these little kids love fighting. 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, they love fighting. So we used to get in random fights with other neighboring kids, other street kids, you would say. I remember there was this one kid. I wish I remembered his name. I don't remember his name. But he was interesting because he came from here. And from here, I say from the U.S. So he's over there. He knew Spanish, so I think he was the Dominican kid. But he was too hyperactive for us. Like, he was way too much compared to us. So he got along with us sometimes. And then one day, he starts to get involved in the fighting. So me and him fought. I think I beat him, whatever. Little kid fighting, nothing crazy. So we used to do this back and forth, you know, meet up somewhere, have a little 30-second fight, you know, grab him by the neck or something, grab his shirt, and then he can't move. You'll basically fight to restrain the other person. Once you restrain them, they'll be like, all right, get off of me, and then you'll get off of them, and then you guys go both ways. I know. Sounds really funny, but this is what we did over there. I remember I had a big, like, I had this big rivalry with this one guy. What was his name? Jonas? This guy Jonas. He was a bad kid. He was like the one bad kid from the classroom. So he was a bad kid. He was always not pay attention in class. Teacher was always on his ass about stuff, and always wanted to fight. So he'll come press me up, whatever. I'll be like, all right, let's fight, whatever. And we go out there, fight. He would get the best of me almost every time. It's probably like once or twice that I beat him. So he was a bad kid. I'm not afraid to say he was a bad kid, and he liked fucking up the other kids. So I remember this one time we were having like this presentation around the school. So the teacher was bringing us to different classrooms. And the whole time that we're walking with the teacher, Jonas and I were like in the back of the line, kind of like bickering at each other the whole time. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you." And I was like, "Do it, bro. Whatever." And like the whole day, he was just bothering me and bothering me. And then he was like, "Oh, watch when the school day is over and I find you outside. I know the way you take home because I used to walk home." So he's like, "I know you the way you take home." So I think at one point through half the day, I was like, "You know what, brother, man? Whatever. You're gonna hit me. If you hit me, whatever. I'm gonna have to fight you." And I think that finally switched it in my head, like, you know what? If we fight, we fight. Whatever. So I felt calmer about that instead of being so anxious and stressed about it. I felt calmer about it, so I was like, whatever. We get to the end of the school day. I'm going outside. I see this kid waiting for me at the school gate. So I don't know if this is a woman's shirt, guys. This is the first time I'm wearing this shirt, and it's a little tight. Y'all let me know. Is this a woman's shirt, or maybe I'm just muscly? Maybe the muscles have finally started coming out. But yeah, this kid is waiting for me at the gate of the school. The only way to come in, the only way to get out. So I'm like, whatever. We reached the end. So I'm like, all right, let's fight. Let's start throwing down, start fighting. The security guard up the gate comes to separate us. And I was winning at that point. I was getting my licks in, you know. And then the security guard separates us, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I don't know what made him know that I wasn't the bad one. So he's like more on Jonas, and he's like, "Dude, what's wrong with you? What are you doing?" Blah, 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 blah. And while he's doing that, he looks back at me. He's like, "Go, get out of here." And I was able to escape. And I think I got the best of him before I escaped. So Jonas wasn't happy about that. I remember at the end of the school year, Jonas didn't pass the class. Like the whole school year, he failed the school year, so he had to get left back. I think it's the only reason I was able to escape from him. I think if he had the same class as me the year after, would have been dealing with that. But other than that, a lot of fighting. This one time, I don't even know what led to this, but this one time, my dad had told me when I was younger not to cross the street, because there was our apartments right here, across the street, and there's another set of apartments set up the same way. Little park in the middle, apartments surrounding it. One day, I would cross the street, not all the time, but I would cross the street. You know, I'll be like, my dad's home. I know I got a couple hours before he gets home. I mean, what did I say? My dad's at work, so I know I have a couple hours before he gets home. So I'll cross the street, whatever, and I'll try to make it back before my dad would get home. Sometimes he'll catch me, you know, he'll get home and he'll see me on that side of the street and be like, "Yo, what are you doing? Going too far away from home, blah, 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 dangerous streets." So one day, I'm on that side of the street with all my friends. I had to go. All my friends were there. Everybody was there at the same time. Nobody was at school. Nobody was with their dad. Nobody was doing nothing. Everybody was outside. So I pull up and I'm like, "Yeah, gang, what's going on?" And there's beef going on. Got a group of kids trying to beef with my gang, you know, my peeps, my little squad. So I pull up, like, what's happening? Everybody there. Stuff is happening. I think there was like a group of kids about to fight. Not a group, like two kids about to fight out of the group. So they start going at it. My friend looks at me. You know, when you're in a group of kids, there's that group leader, you know. There's like that one guy that's usually the older kid that has the most freedom, and we kind of follow what that guy says. So group leader looks at me and he's like, "Listen, they gonna get that other guy to fight. You gotta fight him." And I'm like, "I guess so. Guess that's what I gotta do." So whatever. Like, that was my role. I was like, if the group leader says, "Yo, we fighting," what are we gonna do? We're gonna be like, nah. Let them beat us up. Because in my head, they're beating up my friends next. So, boom. Kid gets in the middle, and I see him. He's looking at me. I'm like, all right. He wants to fight, and he looking at me. He knows that I'm gonna fight. So, I don't even think we actually started throwing down right away. I think he like tried coming at me like nice and quick, and I went next to him, little juke action, and I get behind him. I put him in a full Nelson, You know the full Nelson. You know, got the arms up. I got my arms here. So I put him in a full Nelson. So now he can't really move. What is going on with my itchy nose, man? This is annoying. So I got him in a full Nelson. He can't really move. And the fight was over pretty quick. I got him. He can't escape. No one even landed a punch. And I'm kind of like, all right, if I let him go, he's just going to come and start coming at me hot again, you know, hit me. So I kind of like turn around with him and I look at my friends and I'm like, yo, homie, what do I do, my boy? What do I do with this guy? And my friend looks at me and he just points and he's like, I'm like, you want me to slam him against the wall? On the wall? So I'm like, all right. So I just turn to the wall. There's a wall literally right here. And I just head first into the wall. Boom. Again, little kids, 8 years old, 9 years old. What are we doing, man? So I hit him on the wall and I let him go right away. Kid turns around, look at me, and he's bleeding from his forehead. And I'm like, oh, shit. So then my friend, group leader, looks at me and he's like, go, 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 like, get out of here. So I ran my ass home. I was so freaking scared. Went inside, went in my room, acting like I was home all day. My dad got home, my mom got home. I was like, yeah, no, I'm just in my room. I want to stay in my room. I'm flying here and in my room. I don't think I have ever seen that kid, so I was like, as long as I hide, I think I'll be fine. They don't know who I am. Whatever. So like 2 days later, my dad drops me off like a block or two down from my house. I think like a block down, to be fair. Drops me off a block from my house. And he's like, you can walk from here. So I'm like, sure. Start walking. Before my dad even leaves, before his car even moves, two like big girls, and I say big girl, they're probably like teenagers. So to me, they were like, whoa, grown adults. So they're probably like teenagers. They like see me walking and they stop me. You know, we go like shoulder to shoulder. They stop me. They're like, wait a minute. And they go, aren't you that kid that bit on my little brother, had him bleeding for the forehead? And my heart sunk to my butt. And I was like, no. And they both just looked at me and were like, okay. And kept on walking. Oh, man, I was so freaking scared. I was like, they got me. I was like, they freaking got me. I'm going to jail tonight. In my head, these are FBI agents. These are secret agents from the DIA, the Dominican Agent Association. Is that what that stands for? The CIA? I don't fucking know. Whatever. Central Intelligence, whatever. The Dominican Intelligence, whatever. So my dad puts the car in reverse, goes all the way back, goes next to me, and he's like, what was that about? I'm like, shit if I know. I don't know. And he's like, all right. And left. What the hell? That was scary. That was very scary. After that, I was like, I'm done fighting. I was like, no, I can't be doing this. I was like, in my head, I probably ruined that kid's life. I was like, I can't be doing this, ruining people's lives. Done fighting, I was like, I can't be doing this. So I pretty much became a pacifist after that. I was like, no, there's no need to fight. We ain't gonna fight. I told all the kids at school, yo, I don't do that crap anymore. If you ever mention my family's name, my mother's name, it's gonna be real issues. But other than that, there's nothing really you could say that's gonna bother me. Because in my head, I'm like, listen, that was bad. Like, that kid could have been badly hurt. I could have been in trouble. That's probably mainly what I was thinking about. I probably wasn't even thinking about the kid's health. I was probably like, shit, I could have got in trouble for that. So after that, I was like, I can't be fighting no more. Next time I got into a conflict, though, I think I was at church. I used to go to church with my little cousins. And I say little cousins, but Joelle is older than me. Marielis is younger than me, so she's younger. So we all three of us. Joelle, Marielis, and I used to walk to church from his house. Go to church, whatever. We used to go to the, not little kids' church, but it was the younger service. So a lot of the people there were younger kids, parents with their kids. And then the kids will come out, meet up with their friends. Well, what you about to do, you know? little kid stuff. My dad's about to take me home. You should come over. And blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff. So one day, Joel Mariels and I are walking out of church. And there's this kid. Oh, man, I wish I remember his name. But it's that kid I mentioned. The kid that had come from here, from the U.S. to DR. And we're a little older now. And I see him and I recognize him. I'm like, yo, that's that kid. And he makes eye contact with me. And I'm thinking, whatever. I haven't seen this kid in like a year and a half, whatever. We lock eyes, and then he starts walking towards me. And I'm like, whatever. Not thinking much of it. So he gets in front of me. And he's like, oh, long time no see, right? And right away I caught the vibe. And I was like, oh, this guy's not here to be nice. This guy's about to maybe be a little annoying. So I'm like, oh, gosh, here we go again. So he's like, what's up, huh? You want to fight now? You want to fight? And I'm like, brushing it off like, no, not really. I don't want to fight. He's like, nah, we're fighting. So he's like pushing me. And I'm like, yo, leave me alone. And my cousin looks at me, Joel, and he's like, yo, what are you doing, man? This guy's pushing you around. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not trying to fight. I'm not fighting him. He's like, okay. So we keep walking. Kid is like walking behind us, bickering. He's probably with some of his friends, maybe. Gets in front of me again, and he's like, yo, you're not going anywhere. And I'm like, bro, can you get out of my way? Like, I'm not fighting you, man. He's like, bro, you're not going anywhere. And he pushes me again, and I'm like, oh my God, bro, I'm not fighting you, bro. Pushes me again. He did like a weird WWE move on me. Like, he like grabbed me by like my head, kind of put me like in a ghillie, and then like it looked like he hit me with his knee, but like I didn't feel anything. Like he went, so I was like, I think he just did that like they do in WWE. Like, come on, boy, you didn't put no force into that. So I like threw him off of me. I was like, come on, bro, like leave me alone, bro. Like whatever. Like I'm not hurt, but I was like, this man's doing so much right now. He's being extra. So he's all over me again, and my cousin's like, yo, do something, yo. I don't want to see this guy like hit you, so do something. And I'm like, honestly, man, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna do it. And he's like, what do you mean it's not worth it? I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, Joel. And I looked at him and I was like, do you want to do it? You want to handle my leg work? Because if you want to, go ahead. Joel said, oh, say less. Kid is like, oh, you want to fight? Let's do it then. Runs up on Joel, and Joel hits him with the one. Just one, right in the eye socket. Kid holds his head and starts running away. I think his name was Mario. Maybe his name was Mario. Starts running away, holding his head. Whatever. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was like, yeah, that's what he deserves. Whatever. We walk home, and Joel told his mother. Joel was like, yo, boy Hancer bugging out. This kid was trying to mess with him. He didn't want to hit him. I had to step in. Then my other aunt was there. His mom and my other aunt were there. And they're both like, come on, boy. You can't be letting someone pull up on you and disrespect you like that. And you're not doing nothing about it. So I was like, I mean, I guess. I was like, I'll think about it next time, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So, whatever. We're chilling in the living room. And in DR, you kind of have like an open living room area where it's like half outside, half inside, you know. Una terraza, they call it. So, like a balcony area, but not a balcony, you know. Like, not a deck either, you know. So, we're chilling there. And through his metal fencing, you see you'll hear that? You see a mother walking by with her son. And it's the boy Mario. So I'm like, here comes more trouble, man. So his mom gets to the door, sees us right there. Mario's like, yeah, it's them. So his mom is like, oh, I'm looking for whoever did this to my son. And points at her son, and you look, and he has a black eye. So I'm like, damn, that boy Joel hit him good. At that point, I was kind of jealous. I was like, oh, man, I wish I'm the one that did that. So his mom pulls up with the boy, black eye. What the hell happened to my kid? She's bugging out. She's freaking out. And my aunt is like, whoa. Calm down. From what I heard happen, this is what happened. So she tells him, my kids went to church. They were coming out of church. They said this kid kept bothering him. He was trying to hit his little cousin. And he wasn't having it, so he defended him. Then mother goes, oh, is that right? This little dumbass did that. I freaking knew it. I knew he had it coming to him. I knew this wouldn't have happened if he didn't provoke it. And we're sitting there in disbelief like, oh, damn, she's really just going to take our word for it and that's it. So I pushed him around like, let's go home, boy. Let's go home, boy. And then, yeah, that was it with the boy Mario. I never saw him again. He got what he deserved. What is good with that man's? I need a hydration break. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get a hydration break. I was getting parched. Can you guys hear that music outside now? They're having a real party. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I'll try to edit some of it out in post-production. Anyways, what was that, guys? So, never saw the boy Mario again. He probably learned his lesson after that. That was probably around when I was like 8. I'll say 9. I'll say 9 and a half. Probably like a year later, I moved out. I moved to the second to the last house we lived in before we moved out of the country. So I'm trying to remember. I remember this one time. Joel and I were in our grandparents' bathroom. What were we doing? Who knows? Little kid stuff. So one day, Joel and I were in our grandparents' bathroom. We were just in there looking through their stuff. That's what males do when they're younger. So we're like going through our grandparents' stuff. And Joel finds a razor, grandparents' razor. And back then, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it was those razors, you know, it had the stick and just the razor sitting at the top. So it was kind of, I guess, a little dangerous. So Joel and I in there, he finds that, he's like, oh, perfect, man. He's like, I'm about to shave my legs. So keep in mind, Joel's literally like 11. Maybe 12, no more than 11 or 12. Right there. It's probably nothing to shave. Stubbles, if anything. A little shaving action. So I'm watching him and I'm like, I want to shave too. He probably told me like, yo, if you shave, that's when you start to grow.
Hey,
so I'm
no
like,
Diddy, man.
duh,
No Diddy.
everyone knows that logic. So boom, boom, boom. Pass it on my legs a little bit, acting like I'm doing something. And I get on this leg. And I go, vroom, vroom. I get on this side of my leg, and I turn the razor a little bit, way too much. And I made the biggest hole I ever seen on human skin ever. Like, the scar is still there. You can still see the scar to this day. Maybe I'll put some picture of the scar so y'all can see that. It's like my finger, almost as wide as my finger also. All I saw was literally like white skin, and then blood started coming out like a freaking fountain. So Joel and I was freaking out. We started putting freaking piles and piles of toilet paper on top, and then I started wrapping my leg with toilet paper. Probably went through a whole roll of toilet paper on my leg. And luckily I had long pants, and Joel and I just walked out of there. I think we walked to his house, which was like a house down from my grandparents. And I don't even know what we did after that. Like, I probably just left that there for like a day or two after that, and it stopped bleeding. Luckily, it stopped bleeding. Because looking at that scar now, I'm like, how did toilet paper keep that good? Like, I don't know how toilet paper did that. That was an experience, and that's a moment I'll never forget. It's literally right there. I see it all the time, and I'm always like, I remember a couple years later, my mom saw it or something. I don't know how she saw it. It was healed by now. But she saw it. She was like, what happened there? And I was like, oh, I fell. And that was enough. That was enough for her to believe me. I don't know if it was a couple years after that, but I remember one day I was in the Capitol with my cousins from there, my mom's sister's sons, and we were playing hide and seek. Told you, hide and seek was a big thing over there. And I think I was the seeker. Yeah, I was the seeker, not the hider. So I'm sitting there on home base. I'm doing my counting, count to 10, whatever. And I turn around and go look, and one of my cousins was just there right in the opening looking at me. So I'm like, and our game of hide and seek, I think it was hide and seek tag, so I had to go tag her after I saw her. So she runs, and I tried running right after her, and I was standing on a bunch of glass. So there was a bunch of glass was thrown in the backyard, because, you know, DR. I was standing in a bunch of glass, like broken bottles, and I slipped on the glass, fell, used my hands for support, hand slipped on the glass too, and I look at my hand, and I have this, not a hole, but you know, like I have this deep cut in my right on the bottom of my thumb, and it's just blood and blood and blood. So my cousins and I were like, holy shit, what the hell? So we started running, and our parents were like at my aunt's house, which was like probably like 8 minutes to 10 minutes walking. We didn't have no damn car. I guess at this point, whoever we were with didn't have a car either. So it was kind of like, oh, we gotta run. So my cousins and I just ran to his house. 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm holding my hand, full of blood. It's dripping everywhere. It's on my clothes. On the way there was like a car wash chilling right there. So we stopped in the car wash and we're just like, please, just spray me with water. Sprays me with water and cleans me up a little bit. And then we get to running again. Get to the house. And we run in there with me full of blood. My aunt and my mom start freaking the hell out. Drive us to the hospital. And I'm there, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do to me? They're going to cut my finger off. What are they going to do to me? And right next to me on the waiting area, there's another kid holding his hand. His hand is all wrapped up. And he's just crying and crying and crying. And then his mom starts talking to my mom. And they're talking about, oh, our kids are both bleeding from their hand. So the mom tells my mom, oh yeah, they threw a broken bottle at him and he caught it. Oh gosh, just thinking about that. That sounds crazy. But she said that his hand was all jacked up. And I didn't get to see his hand. I gotta feel it right now. Oh jeez. I didn't get to see his hand. But it sounded way worse than mine. I was like, listen, he going through it. So I better be fine. So that helped me calm down. I got stitches for the first time. I thought it was going to be way worse. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but holy crap, just thinking about it. First and only time I got stitches. Thinking back, I don't know how I survived that because I'm scared of needles nowadays. So I remember that kid that was next to me was like, you know, when they got you in the big room, they got the curtains around. So I was like, I guess inside the curtains, and he was outside the curtains right there. And they were doing his stitches, and I could hear him yelling on top of his lungs, screaming, like someone was like stabbing him. And I'm telling you, all that made me like go like, that could be me. It could be so much worse. And it's not. I'm surviving. It's fine. Crazy. That's the first time I got stitches. It wasn't that bad. Only even like 3 stitches maybe. I've never had surgery, never broken a bone, and that was the only time I got in stitches. That's probably why I'm so scared of like the doctors and stuff. What other horrific injuries have I had in DR while I'm at it? Anyways, that was all before 2010. In 2010 is when I made my trip here. I remember my parents used to always tell me when we were younger, yeah, we're gonna go to the U.S. when you get a little older. We're gonna go to Nueva York, New York. And I used to always think about the family I had here, so I used to be like, oh, I can't wait. Until the day finally came. The last summer I spent there, I remember it was the first summer with a cell phone. I had a cell phone. My friends had gotten cell phones, so we're like texting each other. And I used to text my crush a lot. So I was texting, and I found out she lived near me. She lived like 2 minutes away from me on my bike. So I used to pass by her house on my bike. I'll go say hi to her, whatever. And then one day we're texting, and I was like, you know, trying to be a little Mac boy, and I was like, oh, do you like anyone? And she was like, I do. And I was like, oh, who do you like? And she was like, oh, it's funny you ask, because I like you. And I was like, whoa. Is that what she said? I was like, no way. So I replied back like, you're lying. Like, what? And she's like, what do you mean I'm being serious? And I'm like, shut up. You're lying. And she's like, are you okay? Like, you asked me a question, I answer. I'm like, can you stop being so annoying and stop lying to me? And then she's like, can you stop being fucking weird? Do you like me too? Is that why you're being weird? I was like, oh, maybe, yes, maybe. I mean, I guess you said you like me, so yes, I like you. top 5 moments, I guess. Top 5 moments. You know when you finally tell your crush how you feel and she feels the same way. Come on, guys. Top 5 moments. I was like, yo, I can't believe this is happening right now. I thought life was set, life was complete. I was like, hey, where do we go from here? It's lit. Never saw her again. After that, the anxiety hit, and I even stopped like going to her house like to say hi. Like I stopped passing by on my bike because I was just so nervous. I was like just knowing that she liked me made it all like such a big deal. So bad, horrible. I guess that was the birth of my anxiety. And then it got worse. So, whatever. I was like, it's fine. I was like, it's fine. I haven't gone over there to say hi or whatever. Once the school year starts, it's going to be different. I was like, I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend. She's going to be my girlfriend. No one at school got a girlfriend. I'm gonna be the only one with a girlfriend. I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm all my friends. I'm gonna be like, yo, my girlfriend. She said she liked me through text. Yo, it's lit. A couple days later, my parents are like, oh, you're not going back to school, by the way. We're moving to the U.S. And I was like, we're moving to the U.S.? When? And they were like, oh, like in a couple of weeks. And it was like 2 weeks from school starting. I was like, oh, I was like, I don't want to go. And they were like, you don't want to go? We always told you we were going. You always said you were going. We like, this is part of our plan always. We got the paperwork and everything, you know? I was like, oh shit. So they buy the flight. We get our documentation, and school starts. I think a week or 2 weeks had passed. And my mom and I go to the school to give them our goodbyes. So mom and I go to the school, and we walk into the school. We walk into the class, and it was the same teacher that I've had previously, a teacher that adored me, a teacher that loved my mother. So we walk in, and she goes, oh my God, look who finally decided to show up to class. And I remember just being so quiet. You could hear crickets in there. My mom was like, yeah, about that. So while my mom is telling her, I'm just standing there facing my class, just looking at them. And they kind of figure what was happening. And they all look so sad. I'm sure I look sad as hell. I didn't even want to look at my crush. I didn't even want to look that way. But after my mom told the teacher told the class, we all said our goodbyes. And a lot of those kids, 15 kids, 20 kids, a lot of those kids I've never seen again. But I did keep in touch with 3 people. So shout out those 3 people that I kept in touch till this day. One of them was my friend Sterling, closest guy friend I've had since I was little. Shout out Sterling. He was the closest male friend I had. Keep in touch with him until this day. Matter of fact, last time I was in DR in 2022, I was in DR in 2024 for my grandfather's passing, but in 2022, that was the last time I was in DR with hanging out with my cousins and doing stuff. Now, me and him actually went to the club. So shout out Sterling, still keeping up to this day. Shout out Janibel. Janibel lives in PA right now, and I actually visited her in the last 2 years, so she's doing good. Her little son is doing good. So shout out them. And last but not least, me crush, the person I had a crush on, also kept in touch with her. So listen, guys, it's not a sad story. It's not like, damn, the boy finally got the girl he liked. He finally told me how he felt. You know what I'm saying? Well, not bad. We all 4 of us kept in touch. I'm sure back then there was more of us that kept in touch, but all 4 of us, them 3 and I, we've kept in touch till today. Till this day, we keep in touch. Once in a while, I call them up and then we catch up. Me crush, for her privacy, I haven't said her name obviously, but she's probably watching. Me crush, she lives in Spain now, so she's over there. Sterling is in DR, and Jenny Bell's in PA, and I'm here in New York. So that was my gang from back then. I've known them since literally I was like this big, so they're like family to me. So God bless them. Shout out to them. Blessings to them. And shout out to my whole family that's still in DR. I got a couple family members still over there. Shout out the whole country. You know what I'm sharing? This has been a long one, guys. This is not the full story. So I don't know if maybe the next episode or maybe the episode after that or maybe sometime in the future we'll get into my migration story to the U.S. That was more like my little childhood in DR. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff. I didn't even get into my family. That was more like school and upbringing. What am I saying? Anyways, maybe another time we'll revisit the topic and you guys can find out more about me. If you got any questions about me, my upbringing, my childhood, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys stay blessed. It's In The Shed with the boy Bobby. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. It's your host with the most, Hancer. I'll catch y'all later. Bow!